Dakota Johnson reveals shocking truth about Sam Heughan. While living together, Dakota Johnson never thought she'd share an apartment with a stranger, even the Outlander star Sam Heughan. But what she calls a budget option quickly becomes one of the strangest, most profound, and most memorable experiences of her life. It's April and Edinburgh is chilly. The studio has rented a small apartment on a hillside overlooking the Firth of Forth, where they're shooting an unannounced independent project. Dakota initially thought she'd be alone, but her schedule changed. A 1 a.m. call from her assistant: "Sam's coming to stay with you for 3 weeks." No other options, she frowns. Sam Heughan. Tall, elegant, eyes piercing. He's the kind of guy who walks into a room and everyone takes notice. Dakota is different. She likes to fade into the background, like the gray of the living room wall she's staring at when she hears the news. When Sam arrived, he had 3 suitcases, a canvas bag full of books, and an old guitar. Neither of them said much at first. They were like 2 pieces of music that overlapped, but didn't fit together, just coexisting in the same temporary space. Every morning, when Dakota got out of bed, the smell of coffee was ready in the kitchen. Sam rose early, always making coffee for them both, setting her cup right by the window. Strong, he'd said, enough to summon spirits on a Scottish morning. Dakota took a sip and nearly choked. The bitterness was strange. There was something primal about the coffee, something only fit for someone who had survived 3 wild winters. "Are you really drinking this?" she asked. Sam smiled, a rare half-smile. "No, I don't drink coffee." She looked at him suspiciously. "Then why are you making it for me? I like to watch people endure it." First fact, Sam Heughan doesn't drink coffee. But he makes it for others, every day, as a matter of habit. As part of a ritual no one fully understands, the piano in the night. On Thursday night, Dakota was awakened at 2 a.m. by a strange melody. The plain piano music was coming from the living room. Not a clear melody, but a series of chords, sometimes awkward. She stepped out, peering through the crack in the door. Warm yellow light came from the floor lamp. Sam sat there, his back to her, his fingers moving lightly over the electronic keyboard. "You play the piano?" she asked, her voice hoarse from waking. He turned, startled. "No. So, what is that?" Sam pointed to the Bluetooth speaker next to her. "I turned on an app that simulates piano sounds. Like ocean waves. Helps me sleep." Dakota said nothing. But the next night, when she stayed up late, the piano sounded again, and this time, she saw Sam's fingers actually tapping on the keys. "You're lying," she whispered. Sam just shrugged. "I don't want anyone to know I'm clumsy." The strange bookshelf. On a rainy morning, Dakota cleared out the small bookshelf in the hallway. Each book seemed pointless. Yoga for the Unflexible, A Guide to Surviving Lost in the Woods, 100 Recipes for Cooking When You Hate Cooking. "Do you actually read these?" she asked. Sam was chopping vegetables in the kitchen. He didn't look up. "No, I picked books by cover. Seriously, a pretty cover makes the room less lonely." But there was an old leather notebook sitting among the pile. No title, no author. Inside was handwriting, soft, almost poetic. Dakota flipped through the pages. It was a story about a woman named Ira, a cold sea, and a man who carried a ghost from the past. "What is this?" Sam was speechless. "I wrote it, but no one ever reads it." On the 12th day, Dakota noticed something unusual. The mirror hanging in the middle of the living room was usually very ordinary, but that day there was something strange on the glass. The early morning sunlight slanted through the window, revealing blurred writing, written in felt-tip pen. "The truth has blue eyes." Dakota was stunned. The strange writing was like a whisper from someone who was no longer alive. She reached out and touched the glass lightly, as if trying to touch something invisible behind the words. "Did you write this?" she asked Sam when he entered the room in a loose gray sweater and a glass of orange juice. He glanced at the mirror, hesitantly. "Yeah. Does it mean anything?" "It's just a good sentence," Sam replied, but his voice lacked the naturalness that was usually in it. Dakota looked straight at him. She knew it wasn't simple. After a moment of silence, Sam sat down, his eyes drifting away. "That's what my mother used to say. Before she died." Dakota was silent. She said, "The truth has blue eyes." What she meant was, when you look at the truth, it's as clear and cold as blue eyes. No one can hide. "And you write it every day?" Sam nodded. "Whenever I feel like I'm pretending. It reminds me, to be honest." For the first time, Dakota saw a softness in Sam's eyes. Not a great sadness, but a sliver, small, silent, but still cutting, the chipped lime pot and the Sputnik. In the corner of the living room, on a low wooden shelf, there was something that had always intrigued Dakota, an old china pot, chipped on one side of the mouth, looking like a worthless antique. At first she thought it was an innocuous decoration, but then she began to notice, Sam often sat near it when he called home, when he was deep in thought after dinner, or when he didn't speak for hours. One day, she asked, "Whose vase is that?" Sam looked over, his eyes slow as if he had just remembered something old. He stood up, took the vase down, and placed it between them on the wooden table. "My mother used it to feed her dog," he said. "It was called Sputnik." Dakota frowned. "Sputnik, as in satellite?" "Yeah, Sputnik was a bitch. I grew up with it. Every night I couldn't sleep, it would climb into bed and lie at my feet. And then, it died when I was filming the second season of Outlander. My mother sent me a letter. It had only 3 words. She waited. Then left." Dakota choked. She had never expected someone like Sam to keep such little things, to hide them so well. He always smiled in public, always polite, always ready to talk, but behind that was a vast sea of silence, where no one was allowed to enter. An untitled poem. The last week of their life together passed as quickly as a breath in the cold. Early one morning, Dakota found a folded piece of paper on the kitchen table. No name, no symbols, just light, steady handwriting. It was a poem. Full moon, missing into the arm, hiding the breath, picking up the day. You or I, no need to name. Lost in the void, 1,000 lakes solemn. She read it over and over. For some reason, those lines seemed to seep into her heart, bit by bit, like snow melting in her hand. That night, she asked Sam, "The poem. Is it yours?" He shook his head, half smiling. "I don't write poetry, but the writing is yours." Sam bowed his head. "Maybe I'm sleepwalking." Dakota didn't ask again, but she folded the paper, carefully, and slipped it into the leather notebook Sam had hidden. When he wasn't looking, the night sea and the 3 gifts. On the last night, Sam took Dakota to the beach near their house. It was cold, the wind was biting, but the sky was strangely clear. The moonlight was silver on the water. They sat on the sand, saying nothing for a long time. "You know," Dakota whispered, "this has been one of the strangest weeks I've ever had. Because I'm uncomfortable. Because you're not what I thought you were." Sam chuckled. "And you're exactly what I thought you were." Dakota looked at him, but didn't ask what that meant. Sam opened the cloth bag he'd brought. He took out 3 things: a cup of coffee as thick as motor oil, the old poem, and the chipped lime pot. 3 parts of me, he said. If you want to take them. Dakota chuckled. Are you dividing yourself up? No, just the parts I've never shown anyone. Dakota didn't take it. But she put her hand on his and squeezed it. For the first time in 2 weeks, no words were needed.